Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Is the strongest enterprise are those that constantly evolve. It's no longer the game of how big you are, but now the game is how big your ecosystem is.
Now, but I think this really speaks volume why we're attracted to hang out with one another. Like for example, in CEO Insights Asia, I really like spending time there because I'm surrounded with like-minded people. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. I am Chris, the founder and CEO of Morningstar Network Corp. Today's topic is Beyond the Myth. Ayan, ano kaya yan? The key objective for today is to install three competency of team building. So we'll learn about team building for today. Just a quick reminder why we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. is we want to install DNA principles that scale organizations. So to all our participants here in Zoom, we now have 14,000. And in the viewers in Facebook, again and again, we're telling you, come here in Zoom and join the conversation so that you can network and learn properly with interaction. What we want you to do, what we want you to accomplish is that we want you to gain or get one insight that you can immediately apply and execute in your organization, in your day-to-day operation. So that's the reason why we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. So the theme for this month is leadership, and the focus is being a multiplier, where we expand life-changing impact in an ever-increasing measure. And we already talked about functioning in system, we talked about scaling in numbers, and we're gonna talk more about moving in teams. So a quick overview, the topics that we have tackled for this month. Week 1, we talked about Beyond the Walls, where we learned about the importance of our leadership beyond the walls, that we are the leaders as stewards of our organizations. Week 2, we talked about Beyond Luck, where we learned that great companies happen by design and that we'd rather manage this and scale our organization deliberately than rely on something that we do not have control of. Week three last week, we talked about Beyond Talent, where we learned about 3 scaling competencies. We learned that we have to measure what matters, map milestones, and make repeatable process in order to scale organization. And those are the guiding principles to mold leaders. And today we're on week 4, we're gonna talk about Beyond the Myth. And of course, the last week for the April, next week, we're gonna talk about Beyond Entrepreneurship. Ayan, ang dami. So a few announcements. Before we start, circle meetings are happening every Tuesdays at 11 a.m. So we're gonna have Pami Tisan, CEO Kinan Doliesco. So we had circle meeting, or we're gonna have circle meeting with him. And simultaneously, there are other circle multipliers that are happening. So here you have Comizen, the couple partners sila, the couple CEOs, couple operators. It's very good if you have built your business as a couple, then please join their circle meeting alongside with other Silker multipliers. So here we have Miss Jeline of Envision, you have me from MS Starnet, and you have Mel Medrano from Gramworth. Ayan. Next, let's watch the video.
Hello everybody, I am Melanie Medrano of Gramworth Enterprises Incorporated, and I am part of CEO Insights Asia Circle. I joined the circle because I wanted to be intentionally surrounded with people, real people who are better than me, who are doing things I want to do, or who have done things that I have just been dreaming of doing. But as we go along with the circle meetings, I realize that not just the learning that I will get or the benefits I will get from the circle or from other people, it also allows me to serve and be of help to others through just sharing and being myself. It's a very safe place to voice out your ideas or exchange ideas, and sometimes even frustrations, because we also learn from the mistakes and frustrations of others. It's very therapeutic in a way that once a week we get to have a chance to talk to people who are like-minded, and also there's no pressure of doing so many things, well, aside from this video. And we're just there, reading, listening, learning, unlearning, things like that. It makes us. It's so refreshing to be human, to be a leader, to be of service, to gain something, and also give something to others. So if you want to join us also, please sign up and be part of the circle. We meet every Tuesday, 11 a.m. And so that's just once a week, an hour of just light discussion of things, life, and business. So please join us, and I hope to see you there.
Ayan. So it's happening every Tuesdays at 11 a.m. We have intensive CEOs leadership training, and we share business practices and insights. So it's like a mastermind session happening once every 7 days. Yeah, another announcement. Last Thursday at 2 p.m., we had our new circle briefing. This is what's happening inside. So those people who have recently signed up for circle meetings, we brief them on what's happening and what it is all about. So we really hope that you can join us. Carol will send the link. So please sign up if you want to be part of any of the circle. Yan. Next, ito, matindi to. Really, we want you to invite everybody that you know, everybody, especially those managing businesses, the owner of businesses, or even, managerial positions, because it's really something that we can learn of. Next week, April 29 at 10 a.m. in Principles of Scaling, the legendary, phenomenal BK Rivera will be with us. So, ano pang hinihintay nyo? Power na power yan. Lahat ng kilala nyo na gustong umasenso, umangat ang buhay, angat lahat, kay BK Rivera tayo. Next week na yan. Okay na ba yung build-up ko, sir?
Ayos na.
Ayan. So, okay. Now, today, before kay BK, let's calm ourselves. Dahil may mga high blood na mag-share sa atin, Beyond the Myth. Ready na rin ba kayong mga high blood with Sir Fa, the Executive Advisor of CEOInsight Asia, the executive advisors of many of the CEOs here, the CEO's Whisperer, the Phantom, yan yung bumibisita sa panaginip at mapapabalikwas ka sa paggising mo. I want to welcome our speaker for today, Sir Florentino A. Hernando, also known as Fa. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hype na hype tayo ngayon. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series. And today, we'll talk about Beyond the Myth. So, to formally introduce myself with the 18,000 na nandito ngayon at sa mga nanonood, may mga bisita tayo. I'm not sure if andito si Kate Vess at saka si Vess, pa-shoutout daw eh. Yan, di ba? Si Kate Vess at si Francis Vess, mag-asawa. Yan. So, welcome. My name is Florentino A. Hernando. Ayan, ayaw niya maggalaw. Ayan. I'm one of the founders and executive advisor of CEO Insights Asia. And our purpose is infusing ideas that build lasting companies. We're all here to learn how to build our companies to last for over 100 years. Yan, sige. So, agendas na tayo. Uy, by the way, andito si Ma'am Oda of M-StarNet. Happy birthday! Bukas, birthday niyan. Yan, sige. So, agendas muna tayo. Ano bang pag-uusapan natin ngayon? We'll start with the conversation. I believe nandito si Jeline ang unang sasagot ng ating katanungan. And then, we'll talk about the myth. No? Define muna natin para align tayo kung anong ibig sabihin natin when we talk about myth. Yan, mga Santa Claus, mga unicorn. And then, we'll talk about leadership myth. Diba? Kasi bakit ba may mga ganito? Ano ba tong mga kathang isip na alam natin patungkol sa larangan ng leadership? O yun, ang lalim nun. Ayan. At saka we'll talk about building teams and then we'll get practical. So, if you are ready, so have some a bit of engagement, please type, let's get it on. Ayan, chat nyo dyan para alam ko na buhay tayong lahat. Ayan, ano nangyari? Ayan. Let's get it on. Salamat kay Mia, kay Princess, kay Angel, kay Michelle. Uy, si Mitch nandito. Ayan. John Ray. Alright, let's get it on. Sige, conversation starter muna tayo. What ideas did you believe was true but is no longer the case today? So I asked Jeline to answer this. Kagabi magka-meeting kami niyan. Siya ang mag-uumpisang sumagot nito. At the same time, for engagement with others, chat nyo na rin. If you're in Facebook, sige, chat nyo na rin. I-comment nyo dyan para masaya tayong lahat. Sige, Ma'am Jeline, you're here. Floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you so much. Sir Pa, can you hear me po? Just to confirm.
Loud and clear.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga and maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. I'm from Cagayan de Oro City. Anyway, for the question, what ideas did you believe was true but is no longer the case today? Actually, a lot, Sir Fa. But one thing stands out, and that is this one. That once you give or help, mawawalan ka. I used to believe na kapag nagbigay ka either resources or money or time, kala ko mawawalan ka. But as I matured, I realized that it goes back multiple times.
Wow.
And it's very refreshing and very enlightening to know and realize that. That's it for me, Sir Pa.
Okay, sige. Thank you so much. Sige, si Ma'am Oda ba pwedeng magsalita? Birthday girl? Or nagda-drive? Sige. Sige, pili na lang tayo. Jack Cruz, are you there? Can you share your insights with us? Ikaw yung huli. Ayan. Wala ata. Okay, sige. Punta na lang tayo kay Keril. Keril, ikaw sir. At alam kong may sakit ka.
Hello.
Ayan. Go sir.
Ayan. Siguro yung sa akin dito ay processing. Siguro yung isang ko dito is yung sa checklist siguro.
What about the checklist? Sige sir.
Kasi dati parang hindi, okay lang, basic lang kasi naalala ko naman. Tapos parang the more na nag-checklist ako, the more na parang napapatunayan na hindi, mas magandang may checklist kasi nas namamanage mo yung ginagawa mo and nalolook forward mo, napaplan ahead mo siya. Dati kasi, parang kaya ko namang i-plan sa isip ko, ganun. Ma-pride. Ma-pride yard. Pero ayun, yeah, that's for me. Thank you, sir.
Sige. Thank you so much for that. No, checklist, first, last, always, forever and ever. Amen. To be productive. Sige. So let's proceed to our conversation. Ito yung mga resources, some of the few resources we used dito sa ating topic for today. So Michael Eisner is the former CEO of Walt Disney. He wrote a book about working together, why great partnerships succeed. And then the starfish and the spider heavily influence us and how we operate here sa CEO Insights Asia. And then si Tony Dungy, the mentor leader. Later, I'll explain kung sino si Tony Dungy. But to give you a background, he's the first African-American who won, coach, rather. He was the first African-American coach who won the Super Bowl. So he wrote a book entitled Mentor Leader. All right? Sige, so with that, let's talk about, para may alignment tayo, let's talk about myth. All right? Let's define what myth is. Okay, so the first one, it is a popular belief or tradition that has grown up around something or someone. So ito ay sabihin na nating common idea. Yan, popular belief. Marami ang nakakaalam nito, or ito ay tradition na kinalakihan natin. Okay? But the second definition of myth is what really impacted me. Sabi niya rito, a myth is an unfounded or false notion. For engagement, please type the red highlighted word sa inyong chat box. Diba? It is an unfounded or false notion, or in short, or in popular parlance, is fake news. Diba? Naku, laganap yan ngayon. Diba? So it is something that we thought was true or is true, but it's not. And it's very important, listen up, it's very important na pag-usapan natin to. Bakit? Because what we believe will dictate how we behave. Yes? Kung ano ang pinaniniwalaan natin influences how we behave. So if we believe something that we thought is true but is not, it will affect kung paano tayo kumilos. And it's very rampant here sa ngayon, no, sa season na meron tayo ngayon, di ba? How we believe determines how we will vote or not, di ba? Or we will patronize certain candidate or not. So yan ang mga example of why knowing what is true is important. It goes the same in business. Sa business, lalo na sa Filipino business landscape that we are in, I would say that majority of the businesses here in the Philippines are operating with a belief that is no longer applicable. It is no longer it's no longer effective. Yan. So, marami yan sa Pilipinas. At pivot tayo a bit, let me share a case study. Alam niyo naman gustong kong ginagamit ang aking personal experience pagdating sa mga ganito, no? So nagready na ako ng fish oil ko kasi na high blood na ako rito. So to give you a background, 2 days ago, on Tuesday, I had a meeting. I was supposed to have a meeting, and then my first day of work talaga is Tuesday. Kasi Monday is for my wife. Nagde-date kami lagi ni Tidoy every Monday. We've been together for 11 years. We call it the DNT, do not touch time. So we dedicate time together to go out. Tuesdays is the first day of my work. Unfortunately, I was fully booked, but I was ginising ako around mga 6 a.m. And it was mentioned that my wife sabi niya, Dad, we need to go to the OB because nagdi-bleeding si Tidoy. Okay, so to give you a background, my wife is pregnant, 5 months siya with our baby Ellie, and maselan magbuntis ang asawa ko. So nag-i-spotting siya, but this time it is bleeding. So I was alarmed, and I had to cancel my meetings. Si Chris, yung ka-meeting ko na, nag-mention ako na, can we move? Kasi I have to go to the OB. Thankfully na lang at mahal na mahal ni Chris si Tidoy at naunawaan na sabi ko we have to go to the OB. Long story short, ang nangyari is baby's okay, baby Ellie is okay, na meron lang nangyari something because of certain factors and we had to buy medicines that's cost us more than a couple of thousand pesos. And then yung hassle nga, but the changing of a schedule. And the cause of it is maraming ginawa si Tidoy, but a major factor of it is stress. She was stressed out. And I will give you a context, a story behind the story. And this is why it's very important. She was stressed out because someone didn't do what they're supposed to do somewhere. Right? So I will emphasize that. Someone didn't do what they're supposed to do. They didn't do their job. That's why it caused stress to my wife. So the story behind the story is my daughter, Johan, is a 5-year-old girl, and we are homeschooling her. So formative years ito. We want to transfer our values sa kanya. We want her to grow up with our values in a controlled environment. No? And so Homeschool Global, we coordinated, we bought books. And then on the dates, parang last week I believe, nagkaroon ng text message si wife ko na na-receive na yung books. Pero wala naman kaming nare-receive. So we're stressed out. So tumawag siya sa courier, which will never be named, di ba? To protect the innocent and the guilty. Okay, ang nangyari is, sabi, we have to visit the office dito. So we went there, we visited the office, but the point is, Tidoy paid premium para i-deliver dito. Okay, so what happened was, after that conversation, ang nangyari pala is someone there, we're in Bicol, someone in Manila made a mistake, okay, in writing the address. Nilagay yung an address na kung saan 2 hours away from us na puro gubat yon. So wala talaga nagdi-deliver doon. Okay? So pagdating dito, pag nung nag-usap kami, sabi ko, what happened? Sabi niya, kasi nagkamali nga ng pagta-type yung tao doon sa Manila. That's why hindi na-deliver yung books dito. And that is why I'm keen to details. There is no such thing as small thing. Kasi it cost me my day, diba? It cost me unnecessary 2,000 pesos. It endangered, my unborn child. So there's no such thing as small thing. Diba? Maliit lang, nagkamali lang naman ako ng type. No, the impact of that is big. That's why we talk about the devil in details. Yes? Yes? Right. So nung nandun na kami, ang sabi ni Tidoy, sinabihan daw siya nung tao doon na, ma'am, for the sake of para wala nang hassle next time, sabi niya, wag mo nang ilagay yung kalabasa steak. Which infuriated me kasi parang sa akin, bakit tayo mag-a-adjust? And that is the first lesson. Okay? Never ask your customers to do your job for you. Diba? Demand your team to do their job or train them to apologize and do better. Yes? Diba? We are the customers. Why would we? Ba't kayo mag-a-adjust? Diba? Hindi naman kami yung nagkamali eh. And it costs us a lot of money tapos kami pa yung pag-a-adjust. And that's wrong, right? And that's what infuriates me. Is that the kind of business we want to have? Diba? Obviously not. That 20,000 here, that's not. Kasi you're here eh. You're learning about this. You don't want to be that kind of business. Sabi nga ni Amazon, ni Jeff Bezos, we will not allow our customers to pay for our inefficiencies. Diba? Hindi namin pagbabayarin yung mga customers sa mga kapalpakan namin. Hindi dapat ganun. No? So that's the first lesson. Pero dahil mabait nga yung asawa ko, sabi niya, Daddy, hayaan mo na. Diba? Para wala nang issue. Which, na-high blood na naman ako. And that's the second lesson. Okay, as customer, stop doing things you paid for. Yes? If you paid for something, then you get it. Diba? And that's the problem here. That's the mentality, that's the perspective of the Filipinos largely. Diba? Pwede na. Diba? Pwede na yan. Ang tanong ko lang, hanggang kailan pwede ang pwede na? Diba? Pero tayo, hindi. Wala rito yon, diba? Kasi nandito kayo eh. You're listening to this. You want to, hindi pwede sa inyong pwede na. But you get what I'm saying? Diba? Pag Pilipino, pwede na yan. Diba? So that's not the case. So that's my point. The first one is, we never ask your customers to do your job for you. The second is, as a customer, stop doing things that you paid for. And this is very important because this is the mentality that is pervasive. It's all over the business landscape in the Philippines. Yeah? And so from that kind of perspective, we're going to change that. So here's my principle na gusto kong instill. Don't lower your expectations. Raise your standards. Yes, wag tayong papayag na pwede na. Diba? Kasi, Filipino company. So, alam mo naman, pag Filipino company, kumpara sa, diba, multinational, mas mataas yung, level of quality. Bakit? Diba? Let's not lower our expectations. We raise our standards. Yes? Ayos ba? Buhay pa ba kayo? Na-high blood na rin kayo kagaya ko. Okay? Please type, high blood ako. If you are still with me. Ayan. Sige. Yan, tingnan natin kung sino mga sumagot. Ayan, di ba? O, ang daming na high blood. Ayan, sila Mark. Na high blood din ako. Thank you, Ruel. Pasensya na. Umaten kayo eh. Diba? Okay, so that's the power of a wrong perspective. It dictates how we behave. It goes the same with leadership. There are certain perspective or certain leadership myths na we think is true, but it's not. So I'll throw 3. Okay, mga softballs lang to. Okay, the first one, leadership is a talent. Yan, rampant yan. May ano kasi, hindi, mahiyain ako eh. Diba? Introvert ako, hindi ako leader material. The thinking is, you either become a leader or you're not. It's in your genes. It's in your DNA. Okay? You'll become a leader or not. Well, that's a myth. Okay, that's not true. Okay? The truth is, leadership is a capability. It's a skill set. Right? So it's like basketball. Okay? It's like playing basketball. Everyone can learn how to play basketball. Everyone can learn that. I mean, minus the if something wrong with you, but everyone can learn how to play basketball. Now, that doesn't mean everyone wants to be a basketball player. And that doesn't mean everyone should be a basketball player. May mga basketball player tayo na dapat UFC, ang sport na nilalaro. Diba? Makes sense, na? So, but here's the point. No? Sure, there are some who are somehow designed to excel in that sport. Some are not. Like, I can play basketball, but I'm never going to be LeBron. I'm never going to be Michael Jordan. I'm never going to beat them. Kasi mas ano sila ron eh, mas yung genetic ano nila is inclined to excel in that sport. I'm not. You know, but that I can play basketball. I can learn how to play basketball. So it goes the same with leadership. Everyone can learn how to lead people, but that doesn't mean everyone wants to lead. May mga taong ayaw, and that's okay, you know. But the point is, they can learn. They just don't want to. At may mga leader naman tayo na hindi ka dapat naging leader, pare. Di ba? Kawawa yung tao sa'yo. So, tiniterrorize mo. Yung gano'n, di ba? So that's a fact, right? Now, some leaders can lead large organizations. Some leaders are, can handle 500. For them, that's big enough. Some people can handle 5,000 and that's small for them. Yung capacity to lead is nag-iiba-iba, of course. But everyone can learn how to lead. Yes? Please type yes if you can relate. O, di ba? Ayan. O, high blood ako. Sorry na, Angelina. Sorry na. Okay. The next myth, all right? It's leadership is all about relationships. And this is where most of the time I hear Simon Sinek being misquoted. The intention is there because Simon Sinek said, you have to take care of the people who take care of the customers. Because if you take care of the people, they will take care of the business. Totoo yun. I'm not contesting what Simon Sinek says. What I'm contesting is yung mga kinukuha yon as basis na, dapat pala, alagaan ko yung mga tao ko to the point na kahit sinasalbahin na ako, ninanakawan na ako, okay lang yan. Kahit hindi na nagpe-perform at the expense of other people, okay lang yan. So that's the wrong, that's a myth, right? That's the wrong mindset. The correct mindset is leadership is relationship and results. At the end of the day, it's all about results, di ba? Hindi lang pwedeng puro relationship lang tayo. Di ba? When you start a business, you have to make money to pursue the mission. But if you don't have money, kahit masaya tayo, mag-aaway. I've been through a lot of founders breakup already. Diba? Diba? To know na kahit pa nagmamahalang kayo, pag wala ng pera, mag-aaway. O may problema, thesis na, ito na nga, mag-asawa nga diba? Nag-aaway How much more ang founder? So, it's really not just about relationship. It's all about result. And vice versa, hindi na naman puro result lang. Iiwan tayo ng tao natin. Dapat may relationship din. So that's the balance, the balance or the rhythm that we must maintain as leaders. We have to focus on relationship and results. That's the genius of the end. Yes? Right. So last myth. Ito, great leaders build great enterprises. Yan, di ba? You can't build, obviously, if you're an incompetent leader, you can't build a great enterprise. So the assumption is, dapat great leader ka because great leaders build great enterprise. It's true, no? Ang gandang pakinggan. It's just that it's incomplete because the truth is not great leaders alone. And that's the myth. Diba? The superhero, the super leader. The truth is great leadership teams build great enterprises. We talked about this last week. It's a team sport. Scaling is a team sport. Building a business is a team sport. If tayo ang superhero, yun ang pinakamabilis na paraan para mawala ang ating sariling bait. Mawala tayo ng bait. Mabubuwang tayo kung tayo lang lahat. Diba? Kaya wag natin gawin yun. Don't try to do that. We have everyone here who will help one another. That's the what CEO Insights and CEO Circles are all about. But great leadership teams build great enterprise. We can't do it alone. We don't want to do it alone. We don't want to do that because you will lose your sanity. Okay? There's no such thing as Superman or super CEO. Si Superman may Justice League. Diba? So we have to have our team around us. Yan. Sige. So, as I mentioned, Michael Eisner, Walt Disney, former CEO of Walt Disney, he wrote a book entitled Working Together. And dito, finiture niya yung mga great enterprises and their partners. So, isa rito si Walt and Roy Disney. Many of you, I think everyone knows who Walt Disney is. Okay? Buang na ako. Truth. Yan. Ang many don't know, or at least I hope you know, si Roy Disney, Walt's brother. Ayan. So sabi nga ni Walt, si Roy, he is my best friend. Si Roy ang businessman. Si Walt ang creative guy. So they built Walt Disney together. Right? So ano pa example na meron tayo? Okay? Anong company ito? Please chat it down. Okay? Many of you know the company they founded. Many of you know kung sino si Bill Gates. Many of you don't know kung sino si Paul Allen. But those who are into business development and business building businesses, they know kung sino si Paul Allen. He's one of the revered founders. And he's well-known in the Silicon Valley folklore. Okay, so Bill Gates had a partner when he started Microsoft. That's Paul Allen. Okay? Sino pa ba? Okay, si Warren Buffett at saka si Charlie Munger. Yan, the Wizard of Omaha, Berkshire Hathaway, investors. Yan, so si Warren Buffett, kilala natin yan sa investment. Medyo kilala na rin si Charlie Munger. But you cannot have a Warren Buffett without Charlie Munger. Yan, investment partners yan. Of course, hindi mawawala si Steve Jobs, di ba? As visionary as he is, had Steve Wozniak when he founded Apple. Okay? And in the second coming of Steve Jobs, he had Tim Cook. So those are, they're great partnerships. Diba? Itong next one. Yan, si Brian Chesky, si Nathan, at saka si Joe. Hindi ko kaya pronounce yung pangalan eh. Research nyo na lang. Okay. They are the founders of, sige, chat nyo dyan kung sa tingin nyo anong company ito. Starts with letter A. Sige nga. Sino makakahula kung anong company ito? Madalas natin gamitin yan, lalo ng mga millennials na kagaya ko, millennials. Diba? Amazon, Airbnb. They are the founders of Airbnb. Yan. So, there were 3 founders. Okay? At ang pinaka-favorite ko, talagang favorite ko to. This is what I call, and they are called, the PayPal Mafia. Okay? Why are they called the PayPal Mafia? Because when PayPal was founded and it was sold to eBay, yung team na nag-found nun at nag-build nun went on their separate ways and build institutions that many of you are using. Okay? Hindi nyo lang kilala, probably, kung sino yung mga founders nito. But if you're into the Silicon Valley folklore and studying that innovation hub of the world, kilala nyo kung sino ang mga alin. Okay, so ang pinaka-prominent yan si Peter Thiel, one of my idols, investor. He is the tech advisor of Donald Trump. Yan, he started Founders Fund, Clarion Capital, at saka Palantir. So he's well respected sa Silicon Valley. Si Mac Levchin, yan, Slide. Yan, si Elon Musk, obviously kilala natin si Elon Musk, hindi na kailangan sabihin ko mga companies niya. Right? Si Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn is from the PayPal Mafia. Si Jawed, Karim, Chad Hurley, and Steve Chen of YouTube, they are from PayPal. Si David Sachs of Yammer. Yammer is the Facebook of the professional, before LinkedIn, no? Professional life natin. So it was sold to Microsoft. Si Jeremy Stoppelman ng Yelp. Si Keith ng Square. Hindi ko na sinama si Kiva, si 5 other startups. So basically, they are called the PayPal Mafia. Okay? So here's the point. It's a myth that great leaders build great enterprises. Siguro to refine that, the myth is great leaders alone build great enterprises. That's the myth. The truth is, great leadership teams build great enterprises. Hey, so next question, as we pivot, how do you build teams? Well, there are 3 general ways that people or organizations build teams. The 3 B's. Okay? They buy, they borrow, or they build. Okay? So ano yun? Okay? So when you say buy, kukunin mo yung mga magagaling, piperatahin mo talaga. Diba? Yung magagaling, may pera ka, bilhin natin yan. Okay? Dito ka sa amin. Okay? So you get the best players, you get the Lebrons of different companies, you pay them a large sum of money to join our company, and then you ask them to build your company into a great one. Okay? So may mga pros and cons. Okay? If you buy, it's fast. Bilis. Hindi mo na kailangan turuan. Diba? Hindi natin kailangan turuan. Mabilis. The downside is, number 1, it's very expensive. Magastos to. Second, it's risky. Kasi hindi tayo sure kung mag-fit ba siya sa culture ng company natin. Just because all-star player siya sa isang company doesn't mean magiging all-star player din siya sa atin. Okay? Kasi we have to look at the context. Bakit siya naging A-star player doon? Diba? Bakit And can we replicate the context that person is in so that they can be excellent in our company? So it's risky. I'm not saying they will not succeed in our context. I'm just saying it's risky. And third, it's difficult to sustain yung strategy na to. Kasi kung bayad tayo ng bayad, maubusan tayo ng pera, di ba? Pataas ang presyo eh. Yung ganito. The second thing is, if ganyan ang method natin, if in hiring talent, ang mangyayari, we're hiring mercenaries, not missionaries. Mercenary, kung sinong pinakamalaking magbigay sa akin, dun ako. So pagka kunyari, in-offer natin, okay, 100,000 ka para mag-join ka sa akin. Si competitor natin, 150,000 sa akin. O dahil ganun natin yung track, diba? Lilipat din siya. Kung sinong highest bidder. Okay, so this is the It has its pros, mabilis yan. It has its cons too. Or we can borrow. Borrow is outsource. And the borrowing, it's fast. It's cheaper than buying. The downside is there's no ownership. Now, this is not sustainable in the long run because we do not want to outsource our core competency. Kasi ang mangyayari, nakadepende tayo sa ibang tao. Ayaw natin yon. As much as possible, yung strength ng organization natin, nasa atin. Okay? Hindi as much as possible, dapat. Nasa atin yun. Kasi kung nasa ibang kumpanya yon, paano kung hindi na mag-renew yung kumpanya na yun, yung partnership sa atin? Diba? Deads. Okay? Or, we can build. Okay? So, build, it's cheaper. Okay? It's not cheap, it's cheaper. Mag-hire tayo ng tao, i-develop natin siya, i-build natin into becoming a great talent. Okay? So, it's cheaper, it's much more sustainable. Ang downside nito, napakabagal. Ang problema sa atin, lalo na sa mga nakikita ko ngayon mga startups and mga entrepreneurs, mga millennials na, again, kagaya ko daw, mga kagaya ni Christian. Medyo, mainit. Alam mo yun, yung gusto instant. Sabagay, nag-groom naman kasi tayo in the instant world. Instant noodles. Diba? O gusto mo ng girlfriend, mag-app ka, may app dyan. O boyfriend, partner, may app dyan. Instant partner. Ano pa ba? Instant coffee, microwave, and so on. So we live in a world of instant. Kaya we think that instant means shortcut. Diba? Yun pa sasabihin, shortcut nga eh. Kasi I work smart. No, sometimes the most important things need to be worked hard for. Kailangan pinaghihirapan ng mga bagay-bagay kasi it's much more sustainable. Yan. So, and when it comes to talent, you don't want to you don't want to risk it. I mean, it applies in personal life, it applies in professional life. That's why we're homeschooling our child, si Johan, because we want the values to be transferred sa kanya. Yeah, it's easy. I just outsource it, punta ka sa school. Diba? Diyan, may school dyan. Mag-aaral ka, bahala ka, kita tayo after ng school mo. But it's not sustainable. Right? It's cheaper. Bakit hindi cheap? Cheaper because at the end of the day, we're going to pay the expensive cost of developing people. Magastos mag-train ng tao at mag-build ng tao. Or we can pay the expensive cost of building people or right at the start, or we can pay the much more expensive cost of fixing problems kasi hindi natin sila develop in the long run. So sa gitna ng laro, tsaka tayo magbabayad. Either way, magbabayad tayo. Sabi nga ni Chris, choose your expensive. Diba? Expensive in training them or expensive in fixing problems. Choice is yours. Diba? The choice is ours. Dami nagchat-chat ha. Ayan. True. Yeah. Sapak na naman. Ayan. Alright. So, Ashish Nanda is a professor in Harvard and there's an article written, Google nyo na lang. Sabi niya rito, the risky business of hiring stars. Sabi niya, they researched the investment industry, did a study, and interviewed a lot of people there. And they discovered that generally may tatlong paraan ang mga company para mag-create ng stars, okay? O magkaroon ng stars or talented players in their organization. Number one is ignore the farm team. Farm team yung mga tao sa loob ng kumpanya mo. Hire and retain stars. So this is the buy method. Diba? Do everything you can to hire and then pay them as much for them to stay. Okay, that's a methodology. The second is hire good people, develop them but to a point kasi baka pag gumaling, aalis din naman yan. Diba? So, develop them up to a point lang. Okay, that's a second strategy. Or the third one is hire good people, develop them, and do everything we can to retain them. Okay, that's a third strategy. Now, it's faster, yung first and second, mas mabilis yung una compare sa pangalawa at yung pangalawa sa pangatlo. And mas successful nakita nila in the short term yung una. Yung pangalawa at yung yung mas successful in the short term yung una compared dun sa pangalawa at mas successful yung pangalawa compared dun sa pangatlo in the short term. But in the long run, the third strategy defeats the second strategy and the second strategy defeats the first strategy. In fact, this is their summary. In business, the only viable strategy is to recruit good people. We hire for attitude, we train for skill. Develop them and retain as many stars as possible. Nothing is as clear as that. Okay? That's the strategy. Yes? Okay. So ako kasi I believe in it. I'm not a trainer. People categorize me as a trainer. I'm not a consultant. I believe in training industry. I have many friends who are in the training industry. I can recommend you. What I don't believe in is dependence on the trainers outside. Sure, umattend tayo ng training, but I believe in having your own talent development system. As a consultant, people will train for you. Okay? On my end, as an executive advisor, I embed the training and development in your company. Kaya mas matagal yung sa akin. And it's much more sustainable in the long term. If you are a consultant, they will do it for you. Okay? They will create the scorecard for you. And that's the difference between me. I teach the CEOs how to write scorecards. That's why my engagement is longer and mas long term. Because I believe in the power of homegrown management. This is the only sustainable competitive advantage if we want to build institutions that last. Yes, yun tayo magpo-produce ng talent natin. Okay? Thumbs up naman dyan para sa mga nanonood. If you're still with me, if you're learning something new, yan, salamat. Sige. So progressive companies know this, right? So if you've attended, I think I did this episode in back at December, the Hupan University. This is an actual shot of their corporate academy. This is their corporate university. Okay. Hupan University, you don't know the name, but you know the company who owns it. It's Alibaba University. So Lazada has their university. Okay, what else? Globe has their own learning academy. When I was at Labor, dito sila eh. Ayan. So narinig ko na nag-uumpisa na uli ang building natin. Ayan. When we were having that conversation, we're considering of buying yung katabi before the pandemic. No? Gagawin nating training campus yun. Balita ko, Lai, may pangalan daw yung isang poste dyan sa akin. Paalala kay Paolo. Kausap ko si Paolo kagabi. At mag-uusap kami mamaya. Sir, I miss you. Okay. So Labor, syempre, hindi mawawala ang Sellers of University. Courtesy of the Phenom na speaker next week. Kusme, mawawalan talaga ako ng trabaho na talaga rito. Pag nag-talk na si BK next week, so huwag kayong mawawala. Beyond Entrepreneurship by the founder and chief visionary officer of Sellers Hub. Yan. And in partnership with Diane, we're building Sellers Hub University. So nagra-run ng mga management classes natin dyan. Okay. And so those are the corporate universities we're building. So let's get practical. I still have time? Yes, I still have time. How do you build your team? Okay, how do you build your team? 3 M lang ito, madaling tandaan. The first one, be a magnet. Okay? Don't chase, attract. Right? So how do you attract the people? By writing it down. Write down the answer to your question, to this question. What kind of people do I want to work with? Sulat natin. Okay? Hindi pwedeng sa isip lang. Okay? Hindi pwedeng tayo lang may alam kung anong kluri ng tao ang gusto natin makatrabaho. You write it down. Right? And once you write it down, that's when you begin to attract the people in your organization. That serves as a filter of people who will join your enterprise. Okay? So I'll give you an example. Yan, sa Sellers Hub, we know what we want. No, someone who has integrity, who's driven, who has a sense of ownership, and is a lifelong learner. In other words, idol. 'Di ba? So pag naririnig nyo kami yan, idol yan. It's not like, uy, lodi yan. Ganun. No, it is an internal expression of our DNA. Na idol to, ibig sabihin, they share the same DNA as ours. Yes? So yan. So ano pa? See, we trade. Yan. So if you want to, KR dito, if you want to become part of we trade, you have to be a learner, you have to be innovative, you have to be trustworthy. In other words, you have to be lit. Yan, di ba? Kasi kung hindi ka lit, hindi ka magiging masaya sa we trade. Yan. So you have to write it down. These are the kind of people you want to work with. And last but not the least, Miss Chris, di ba? Someone, M-StarNet Corporation, someone who's faithful, who has integrity, who's radiant and empowering, or someone who's on fire. Diba? If you want to become part of M-StarNet and be a venture partner, you have to have these values. Yan. Idol, lit, fire, ang lalakas. Ayan, sige. So sa akin. Yan, gagamitin ko yung sa akin. Sa akin wala akong ganyan eh. I don't have the, what do we call that, acronym. I have the REs. Yun lang. First one is relentless education. Someone who grows 1% better every day. If you're going to work with me as part of my team or as a client, you have to be growing 1% better every day. Okay? Yan, magbabasa ka, mag-aaral ka talaga. Kaya yung mga yung mga pictures ng mga CEOs natin medyo nakakunot kasi talagang napipigay yung brain cells nila sa executive advisory natin. Right? What else? Rapid experimentation. Fail fast, fail often, fail cheap. Failure is okay sa atin. So long as you fail fast and then cheap. Di ba? Huwag naman yung ubusin mo yung babankrapin mo. Huwag ganon. Di ba? Fail cheap lang. Ayan. Basta you have to keep trying. Yun ang critical point doon. And last but not the least, ruthless execution. This is the only word I believe that I'm well known of. You get shit done, come hell or high water. So we don't want excuses. We don't want drama, di ba? Iwas-iwasan ng pagbabasa ng K-drama. Pag nagkakasingilan, ay, sorry hindi ka tatagal sa akin, my friend. Hindi ka uubra, di ba? Hindi pwedeng patwitam sa pakyut, di ba? Ang tanong lang, did you get the stuff done? Because I'm like that. I don't go to to other people. Ay, pasensya na kasi ako naman si Fai. We get stuff done, come hell or high water, no excuses. Diba? Alright, so yan, medyo intense. Okay, so be a magnet. Why? You need to attract the right people because the right people, let's define what the right people is. Right people are people who have character, competence, and chemistry, the three C's, with others who get the job done. Critical dito, yung get the job done. We'll talk about character, competence, and chemistry siguro in depth some other time. I'm running out of time. Sige, the three C's, someone you trust, someone you respect, someone you like. Character, someone you trust. Competence, someone you respect. Chemistry, someone you like. Okay. After being a magnet, be a mentor. Okay? Sabi ni Coach Tony Dungy, your only job as leader, as CEO, is to help your team get better. Okay? You have wisdom, years of wisdom and experience in your head. The mentor pours that to the protege, to the number 2. Okay? Kasi that's how we operate. We want to die. You know, the richest place in the world is not the Yamashita Treasure, it's not the Triano Gold, okay? It's the cemetery. Why? Because a lot of ideas that could have changed the world, hindi na-execute, dinala sa libingan. So when I die, this is my expression, I want to die empty. Lahat ng alam ko, lahat ng ideas ko na ipasa ko na. So I'm not gonna make the graveyard any more richer. We want to die empty. Yes, type die empty if you're with me. And last but not the least, be a magnet, be a mentor, be a maker. Or for a better word, genius maker or king maker. Okay? So the difference between a mentor and a maker, si mentor knowledge tina-transfer. Diba? Si maker provides opportunity, not just knowledge. Oftentimes, promising opportunities, often undeserved. You know, they're using their position to give opportunity to others and then demand the best work. I'm giving you opportunity. I expect your best work. I'm putting my neck on the line. Some people will say, patunayan mo muna yung sarili mo, bibigyan kita ng opportunity. A maker, however, is binibigyan kita ng opportunity para patunayan mo yung sarili mo. Okay? And I will coach you. But yun ang that's a maker. Yes, you give opportunities. Kahit wala ka pang napapatunay, yun nga, that's the opportunity that is given to us. Because that's how I grew. Someone gave me an opportunity, even I haven't proven myself yet. You know, and I use that to prove to him, and then it surprised me kasi, kaya ko pala. You know, it grew. It helped me grow into what you see today. Right. So in summary, be a mentor, be a magnet, be a mentor, be a maker. All right. Sige. So in closing, we talk about leadership, the topic. We're ending our series. So we focus on being a multiplier. Yan ang natin ngayon, di ba? We talk about beyond the wall. Multiplier, expanding life-changing impact in an ever-increasing manner. In first week, na nakita natin na ang decisions natin as leader affects the people beyond the walls of our offices. Yung impact natin, hindi lang limitado sa kumpanya natin. It affects people outside. We talk about beyond luck, that greatness is not a matter of, greatness isn't by accident, chance, or luck. It's by design. That's why you function in system. And last but not the least, talk about scaling in numbers. You know, that scaling is not just a talent. You know, you need to have a skill set of how to scale, but also your team has to have that skill set. You can't scale alone. You have to have your team. Okay? And today, we're talking about the myth of the lone leader, the Superman CEO. Diba? There's no such thing because we move in teams. So basically, I still have 2 more minutes now as I close. I was reflecting on what happened, how to end this. And I reflected on my year. Diba? It's been a year. Last year, around this time, it was in the time na I was driving sa SLEX. No? I came from an engagement, a presentation of it's a multi-million deal. And I was hoping na hindi mag-materialize yun. You know? So sabi ko, bakit? Ayaw ko nun. Kasi I'm going to deal with the businessman. Someone who wants to make money alone. And this is a well-known, parang nasa 20s lang to. And he already built a multi-million business. And then sabi ko, okay, you make money, but I'm not just about money. I'm about impact. And I asked myself, sino ba ang favorite client partner ko? And I came up with 2, Seller Sub and Laybear. So we spoke. Nag-usap kami ni BK noon. I was trying to look for the photo, BK, yung picture natin. No? The first we started in 3. Once a month lang, nag-meet kami, nag-swap kami ng ideas and ng business practices on how to grow our businesses into a lasting institution. And then Fast forward this week, there are about 25 na circle ngayon. No? We started in 3, now we're 25, and we're growing. Diba? So that's the idea. Okay, so how do we do that? This, to put an image in your head. We become a magnet. We attract people who share the same DNA as ours. And if they don't share the same DNA, we don't want to work with them anymore. Diba? Parang what for? So you attract the people whom you want to work with, you mentor them, then become a maker, then that serves as your advertisement. You attract more. It's an ever-increasing flywheel. Yes, so in closing, ito yung nangyayari every Tuesday. Okay, so we have simultaneous circles. Wala pa dyan sila, Chris. Diba? So we have 5 circles happening, and we're inviting you, strongly encouraging you to become part of a circle so we can grow together. Kerry will write down the link to sign up, and then we'll contact you. Okay. So, closing quote ko, yes, I still have 4 minutes. Si Phil Jackson, he has 11 rings, the most number of championship for a coach. And he wrote in the book 11 rings, sabi niya, the strength of the pack is in the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is in the pack. This is a team game.